Okay. Hello, hello. I am making some changes to our Berry Folk Gachapon, our stream integration. So that means there's going to be some issues with our little Berry Folks program today as I try to make these changes. But it's okay. It is okay. I just need to make sure that the stream setup is accurate first. Instead of using the our normal thing, exe file, we're going to have to run it from our game. There it is. Hey, archives. As you can see, your Berry folks are tinier now. I'm adding hey Don, welcome, long time no see. I'm adding a new feature, which is that number of copies you own, number of Berry folks you own will determine the size of your Berry folks. So that's why they're tiny at the moment. Anyways, welcome Don, welcome everyone. We're starting out here, stream viewer. I'm just getting started, so let me do these like usual link situation here. Live now, more Twitch integration, Devin. Today, Twitch is something, and then YouTube is this. There you go. And don't forget, there is a first claim. First one to claim the first redemption gets a little first icon on their berries. That's something that we started last week, I think. All right. Hey, Brains Up. Brains Up says, good evening, Mr. Kim. My berry is just a cutie potato. Yeah. All right, isn't that cute? Isn't the berries cute? Look, yeah, archives is number 1. Yeah, I didn't know Brains Up doesn't have a berry. Do you not have a berry, Brains Up? You've been here for a while. How do you not have a berry yet? And Dawn. Dawn, you should plant a berry too. Anyways. All right, what I wanted to do is I want to make sure that the berries get scaled based on the number of copies you have. And I don't want it to get too big too fast. So probably like 0.2 to the scale is what I'm thinking. Let's see. We'll figure it out. Also, I'm trying to improve the ventilation of my laptop, so the screen is tilted down a little bit. So it's like I have to look like this in order to see what's going on. So if I'm like squinting, that's why. Wait, change berry. I guess change should have been the command as well. Don says, so deepest squat could earn me a berry. Maybe that should be a thing in the future. The thing you can do to get the berry is you got to plant the seed. So there's a plant berry seed redemption, which plants a seed. And then you got to water it total 9 times. So there is an X9 if you want to just do 1 redemption. So that should work. That's the stream integration I made with Godot, and I'm working on changing more things. And as you can see on the top right, these are all the types of berries you can get. So basically, whenever you redeem and open up your berry, you have a chance at getting one of these available ones. So you can see how rare certain things are. Right now, there's 1 thick berry and dice berry and a squat berry available. So there's a good chance of you getting something rare here. 12%. Not too bad. Let's see what you got. Oh, you got a normal berry. It's okay. A few things you can do. You can lurk to sit down. You can stop lurk to get back up. You can kick other berries. You can do an exclamation kick. You can gift your berry skin if you want to. And then you can change your berry skin too if you have multiple copies. And there's a shiny when I get rated by certain people or gift sub. Shiny timer starts where people have, I think, 10% chance of getting a shiny. Oh, archives gave Godot berry to Don. See? Don, now you are a Godot berry. You have a new skin. Little fun thing, fun thing. Luckily, there's no black market for berries yet, which is a good thing for now. But I was in the middle of trying to come up with ways to scale the berries a little bit. So here I'm going to do scale berry size. And I think the sprite and collision shapes are probably things that should be impacted by the scale. So that's probably what I'm going to do here. Got the animated sprite. Scale will equal to vector 2 of 0.20, like 20% times. It should probably be more like 1 times 0.20% times the copy count. Copy count like that, right? I think so. It might make the pixel look a little bit ugly, but we'll see. Wow, Tony, look at that. Zap, zap. Welcome, Tony. Hello, Berry folks. All right, and then we're going to make the collision shape different here as well. A few things we probably need to adjust. I feel like I'm like squatting down here because my, as I said, the laptop screen is like tilted down, so I can't really see. Is my head getting cut off? Oh, it's pretty close, huh? Maybe I should zoom out a little bit. Maybe I need to, here, let me do some adjustment. Let's see, transform. We're going to get rid of the top, I think. Is that better? I think that's better. Hello, okay. Okay, good. A little bit more head space. I'm like right in this screen right now. Tony says, "Why are they so small?" Yeah, no, I made some size. I made some sizes adjustments, Tony. So I'm trying to make it so that the new berry mechanism is that you get a bigger berry if you have more copies of it. So in order to have a good headroom, I shrunk them down. And I'm thinking like maybe the 4 berries would be the size that you were before. And then I got a few things I need to change with that. So don't worry, it's coming. It's coming back to where it was. Hi, Hasi, T-Tron. Welcome. Let's see. What else? Okay, so it's the scaling. We need to change the collision here. Text bubble is fine. Collision shape is one thing. This needs to be scaled up as well. And I guess I should probably do file scale size will be like that. And that'll be adjusted in all the areas as well, I think. We'll say hitbox and then hurtbox. Hitbox is already there. Nice. So those will scale up as well. Scale size, hurtbox will be scale size here. Okay, hopefully that'll work. And then that's fine. I think I can do that under process. Like so. Oh, immediately broken. Just give me a second. Give me a second. Oh, that's right. That's right. Wait, why is this null? Scale with value of type vector 2 on base object. Collision shape is null? Weird. Why would that be null? I'm going to restart this app real quick. Not really sure why that would... is it because it's under process? Makes no sense to me. All right, I'm going to spot all of you guys real quick. I'm going to have to plant the seed first. Plant a seed. All right. And then I'm gonna assemble. There you go. Oh my gosh. Wait, I think I did it the opposite way. I think I scaled it the wrong way. more copies you have, tinier they get. Hold on. Wait, what? Oh, I gotta do plus. Whoops. Okay, hold on. Gee. It needs to be 1 plus times. There you go. That's kind of funny, actually. That's what happened. I'm going to have to restart this again. That was funny. Unexpected. Okay, just give me a second. Things are just breaking here. Clearly, it's not behaving as I wanted it to. Not really sure what's all happening. I'm doing this, multiplying it by copies of this. I guess it's easier to just go like this. I mean, this should work. 1 plus whatever this is. Let me see what the issue is. Hey, Uyghur. Uyghur? I don't know. Uyghur? I don't know how to say your name. Sorry. I know we talked already, but I actually never confirmed how to say your name. I was just about to sleep. Oh, wow. Late. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay, that looks a little bit better. I have 4 copies, so I'm normal here. 2 copy, 1 copy. Okay. And, oh, Hasi also has a berry. You can change your berry skin by doing change berry command if you own something else. You can check what berries you have by saying berries, and it'll tell you what berries you have. Okay. I think that's everyone here. Let's see. 2 for normal. Okay. 4 copies. I think the copy count could be located in somewhere else. So it's right here. Seems like the position of the copy count is also changing. Not sure why it's doing that. Weird. We should probably change the position of the text based on the size. Text bubble right here, and then the name card is over here. Is the name position also changing based on your size? It seems like it is. Interesting. It's like kind of working. Maybe 20 is a little bit too much. I'm going to do 20 or too little. I'll do 25% instead of 20% so that it increments better. Okay, that's okay. Maybe I enable anti-aliasing. Texture. Let's do linear and see what that looks like. There you go. It's not as crisp looking, but at least it's like blended. What do you think? Do you guys like this better or this better? It's hard to tell. Ooh, Omega Killer says 3 a.m. here. Wow, so late. Uigar says, haha, yeah, hard to pronounce. I mean, I don't even know what the correct way to pronounce it is based on the spelling. Where am I says, hi, what are you working on today? I'm working on Berry Folks, the Twitch integration. Right now, I'm trying to make a change where the size of the berries changes based on the number of collections you have. And I'm trying to adjust things appropriately for that specifically. And it's funny because I'm only changing the underlying scales, and it seems like doing that is changing the label position, which is surprising to me, actually. I wonder if I did some sort of... No. Huh. Weird. Well, time to get more berries to test some stuff out. Ugar says, my res was on 720p. I couldn't see the difference. Oh, the berries? It's okay. Hey, if it's not visible, then, you know. Oh, shoot, I took the fig berry. It's okay. I'm just going to keep getting the berries. I'm going to grab all the berries available here for myself because I get it for free. Oh, I got the last squat berry. Rigged. A little bit. I mean, I can always return it, so... I'll just return the rare ones so I'm not hogging it. All right, that's what I'm talking about here. Change berry. I'll return this one. Change berry. I'll return this one as well. Change berry. I'll return this. There you go. And I have a big regular berry folk. Uigar or Uigar? Ooh, okay. Pronounced like ooh. Uigar. Overkill, maybe? Overkill. I don't know what we're talking about there. Okay. I think the berry size is interesting. I do think that some of these like labels need to change. Test. But it's somehow... I guess it's because the position is changing that the level is changing too. Level of where the labels are. I think I want to adjust it appropriately now. So now the name card, I think, should be more like here. But every time the scale changes, everybody's 1, 2, 3 now. Don't worry, I'll fix this eventually. We don't know who's who anymore. And then text bubble. Text bubble as well over here. Also, why is it growing that way? It's supposed to grow custom grow direction is both. Like that. There you go. Welcome 12312. Where am I says, yeah, weird. Maybe it is way you structured the screen of the berries. Huh? What do you mean? What are we talking about? This one should have no size. Like so. And grows both direction. That's okay. And what I'm going to do based on the scale is we have to basically, right now, the position difference between the size of the sprite, which is, I think it's 64 by 64. It's 32 or 64. Not really sure, actually. It is 64. Or 32, actually. It is 32, yeah. Let's see. I'm definitely going to have to restart the Berry Folk app because it's kind of a little bit broken, but it's okay. Uyghur says, why are the text bubbles so high? Yeah, I'm adjusting it right now. So now that I have made it so that the berry sizes changes, I have to make it so that the text bubble also changes based on the size. So that's the part that I haven't done yet. So that's what I'm working on right now. The name card, it's going to be right above the name card, and then the status also probably should be right like that. And copy count is like this here. And so let's see. There it is. I think this should also probably be no size at all. Like so. And basically, I want to keep this where it is. I think that's okay. But the name card and the text bubble position. So right here, name card position will equal to its position plus vector, I don't know, calculator 64 times 0.25, 16 pixels. So it should be minus 16 times the copy count. And then I think I'm going to make it so that the text bubble also does that. Text bubble position will also equal to plus equals of this shift. And that should be fine. Test. Oh, right. I got to restart the thing. And I made it invisible here. And name card is always visible. Copy count. Status is always invisible. All right, let's restart. It's the danger zone where getting a berry right now could be dangerous. Hey, Mikori. Mikori says, what you working on? I'm working on updating some berry folk logic. We're making it so that if you have multiple copies of the berries get bigger. That's why they're tiny right now. But clearly the text bubble right now is not working for some reason. I think it's working. I think it's just in the wrong location. So for example, if I go test, I think, yeah, see, it becomes visible, but it's not on here. And that's probably because the text bubble's position. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense. Look how it's like, can you even see it? You probably can't see it. The Y position is changing forever because I did plus equals and it was running on every process instead of running it once. So actually, instead of doing plus equals, it needs to be wherever it started from plus that. And that should probably only happen once. So I guess I should get rid of this anyway. What we're going to do here is we're probably going to get the anchor position. Mikuri says that's a pretty far away message. Yeah. I'm going to restart the berry folks again. Oygar says jacked berries. Wow. Yeah. Berries are getting buff out here with all the squats and exercises. We're promoting healthy berries. And berries are healthy to eat in the first place. Okay. This should be at least okay for now. For some reason, it seems like I don't have to actually adjust the... Too many berries are not healthy, is it not? You know what's weird? Somehow the label locations are okay. Even though I'm not changing it. And I'm not really sure how that's possible. So for example, this one is position -59, okay. And then this one is position -59. They're all same. How? Is it because it's growing like downward instead of up? But that makes no sense. Yeah, I don't know how it's working. I'm not adjusting the label or the chat box. So it's magic. I'm not going to complain if it just works by itself. We'll adjust that later if it needs to be adjusted. If it works, don't fix it. I do have to say though, you know what? The number label indicates to me that the problem is that that's where it thinks the ground is. Yeah. So I think that is the problem. At least I need to make it so that the number label moves a little bit more to the left, I think. Let's do that so that it's not in somebody's eyes. So when the copy count, we want to make it so that the Berry Folk copy count labels starting position, which is -21 and -15. And I guess we could do that in the beginning during ready. During ready, we're going to say copy count anchor position will equal to the copy count labels position. And the anchor position will be over here, which is vector 2. And this we're going to backfill, meaning I'm going to temporarily assign this variable so that I can get the values filled in. Cool. And then once that's all run, get rid of that. What we're going to do here is that the labels position should be its anchor position plus vector 2 of minus, let's say 16 times the copy count minus 1. Copy count is 1, so we're going to reduce it by 1. And then 0, like so. No error, right? Whoa. Oh my goodness. Whoa. Wait, what's happening to Tony? Why is Tony being teleported? Tony's got 14 berries. Hold on. Maybe it's 4 pixels. Okay. How about if I do 2 instead? Okay, we'll do 4. I think it's 3 or 4 seems about right. You're so big. Uh, Where am I says, have you tried using Java with Godot? No, I haven't. I don't even know how I'm gonna begin doing that. I mean, okay, one way that I could think of is if I have a Java server, then but you mean like using Java code to run Godot program. I have not done that. I don't even know if there's a way to do that. Oh, Tony says it's because I'm planting new ones. Okay, so it's working as intended. Nice, nice. That's that's huge. Let's see. It does seem like I do need to adjust the label a little bit because once you get really big, I also need to make a limit to how big you can get. It seems. um, let's see, 2 times copy count minus 1, maybe. That seems okay. Maybe 3. All right. I think that's okay. Oh, Celine, hi. Did you already say hi? uh, when did you get in here? So he says, hey, Ezra, Mra. I gate typing on phone. Let me try again, Lamau. Hey, Ezra, how are you? Oh, you can't. You can't. Okay. That's why you were trying, not because I didn't notice you. Okay. Look, I don't know if you can tell, Celine, but we made it so that your berry sizes depend on how big or how many berries you have of that kind. I do need to cap it, I feel like. Right? I feel like we do need to cap the size or have a diminishing return. Because look at the 16. Tony's huge. All right. I think we're going to do the same thing with the anchor here. So the anchor position. Oh my gosh. Is your oh my gosh. Okay. That fruit fly came back, I think. Is the hitbox huge? Oh my gosh, I misspelled it. Kick. I'm gonna try to kick someone here. Oh! That's hilarious. That looks funny. Okay. Celine says, hey, what if the size is based on how many berries are in the chat? In the chat? Interesting. Celine says, so example, the max size is 100, the smallest is 10. And if there is 10 people, then the 10 people, then the died are, oh my gosh, Celine, I think phone typing might be not your strong suit. I can't read what you're saying. Not died, the sizes. Okay. So, for example, the max size is 100, the smallest is 10. And if there are 10 people, then the size limits are 10, 20, 30, etc. I see. So you're saying the biggest you can get depends on how many people are, how many berries are on the field. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. I think we can do that actually. User manager, I think we can have func get online berry or registered berry count, which is going to return int, and I can just return user to berry folk keys size, I think. And that would make it so that that's the cap to how how many multipliers you can have on your scale. So it'll be copy count. It'll be a minimum between copy count. Oh, actually, probably should do that here. Var multiplier will be int, which will be minimum between copy count and user manager get berry count. Wait, no, not that. Get registered berry count. And that's going to cap how many there are. And that's going to be used instead. There you go. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 berries. So multiplier is kept at 6. Is that what you mean? I mean, maybe we could do a little more. We could do berry count plus 2. There you go. So you feel a little bit more headroom. Tony says, I have 15 berry folks, but it says 16. Oh. Weird. That just means that you do have 16, no? Oh my gosh. Ah. Can you do berries command? Oh, actually, I saw that. Let's see. No, you have one shiny. You have one shiny. So it's counting the shiny. So you can make it shiny by turning shiny feature on. Yeah. Let's see. Celine says, the biggest you can get is based on what index you have in a list, where every member is sorted from most berries to least berries, where size is minimum size plus max size divided by amount of people, your place. Oh, so you're saying your berry size is by the ranking of collection compared to everybody else in the field? Okay. So you're saying size as a ranking. So total collection. Compared to total collection as opposed to individual collection. Like the interesting. I'm gonna have to think about that one. How about I do separate one for the ranking? Because that is interesting. I want people to still be encouraged by collecting more of the sandberries. And like it feels unique to hold it. But I like the idea of total ranking coming into play somehow. Yeah. I'm gonna have to think about it. Reason I'm not immediately being like, oh yeah, let's do it, is because getting the total comparison count right now could be a little messy. Well, I meant the amount of. Oh, I see. So out of everyone, okay, that's even okay. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Yeah. I'm trying to think how I'm going to implement that, because that means now I have to go through each user and get that berry count specifically in some place. Let's see. How about if there's a way to indicate ranking in a different way? Like ranking of that skin, right? If that's the idea, right? You have you're the normal berry king versus you're the Godot berry king. Tony says the kick bar should be scaled with the size of berry. You know what? Okay. I like that idea. I'm gonna lower the kick power here, and then change it so that it scales up with the number of berries. Okay. Uh, we'll do 20 and 50. And this power is scaled up by, let's see, same thing here. Multiplier. Well, I guess I could just get the scale. Kick power multiplier will equal to the current scale. Yeah, current scale would be bigger than 1. So that current scale currently will increase this. Something like that, maybe? Versus if I'm tiny. Yeah. A little better. Maybe it could be even smaller. All right. Kick power is adjusted by the scale. Celine says, yeah, so the most berries equals biggest, as a little competition. Yeah, no, I really like the little competition idea. I need to figure that out. Celine says, sorry, it's hard to explain it in Twitch chat, and it's just an idea, Lamau. You don't have to do it because it's just a suggestion. No, I like it. I like it. I do want to represent it somehow. Maybe not size, because it's a little bit harder to understand what's going on. But I think there's something there for sure. Let's see. Var. Name label anchor position. Which will happen on ready. Isn't that called name label? Name card. Position. We'll do that here real quick. Okay. And then we want to make it so that the card position is now equal to the anchor position plus 0 minus 4 times multiplier minus 1. I think. So we're pushing it up by 4. And then I think the text bubble that position is probably name label anchor position plus vector 2, and the difference probably is more like Berry Folk. Let's see. Text bubble is 103. Name label is 59. So 103 minus 59 is 44. So we're going to do 44 here plus vector 2 of 0. Oh my gosh, get out of here. this fruit fly. I need to set up the trap that I think it was Void suggested. This one. Let's see if this makes it so that things are way too far away. Okay, that looks okay. Oh, somebody's missing a name label though. Shoot. Celine says fruit fly is attracted by all the berries. Yeah, probably. Oh my gosh! Did you see my? Hold on. I'm gonna restart the thing. Wait, why did it fly off into the distance? Oh, because I was updating it at the same time. All right, here we go. Let's try this again. Tony says it is me. Hey Tony. Oh, the fruit fly is you? Or what are you saying? All right, I'm gonna summon every berry now. Summon the berries. Summon the berries. There it is. No, without a name tag. Oh my goodness. Okay, it's shifted a little bit to the right. Okay, that's not... That's silly that it's doing that. That's probably because the whole growing in both direction doesn't really work when you change its position. I wonder if I can just do the Y position only. Let's see. The 2 seems like it's too much. We'll do 2 here. Or 4. Seems a little too much. Okay, that's a little bit tighter. And then we're going to shift. I think I'm only going to set the Y here. Equals anchor position Y plus this. And then this Y will also be anchor position Y minus 44 plus... My only fear is that because I'm like breathing in and out, just like one of these days I'm going to like swallow the fly and it's going to choke me. All right, hold on. I'm going to restart the thing. Okay. Berry folk. I see someone saying hello. I'm going to say hello real quick. Just give me a second. Let me... Boop. Okay, good. All right, berries are summoned. Berries are coming in. Let's see. Celine says, you know the way in old PvP shooters with Capture the Crown, they'd float above the head of a holder? Kind of like that, maybe. Hmm? Oh, what if top 3 biggest berries had crowns, like a bronze, silver, and gold crown? I think that's awesome. I should probably do that. I like that. Tony says, it is me. Like biggest berry, regardless of what type of berry you are, the biggest berry will get a crown. Yes, I think that's a great idea. Tony says, no without name tag. Oh, I see. Watermelon. This is Cibula? What is that? Says, hello, watermelon. Well, watermelon, you should join the berry folks and plant your seeds and make your little berry. You can redeem plant berry and then you can get your little thing. Nice. Okay. So he says, when are we getting berryfolk.com website dashboard for berryfolk management? Yeah, I don't know. Somebody can make it for us. How about that? I'll give you an API endpoint. That means I need to make a public dashboard or public database for accessible database for this. Right now it's running off of my local server. server, local file. Um, Celine says, "Are we gonna get a battle pass and battle royale mode too?" You know what would be funny if I actually released like a not on stream but like separate application like on Steam you can open up, and only way to get your berries like only way to get your redeems and extra items are by joining the stream and redeeming it during the stream, and you can use that item in game like a MMORPG. That would be funny. Ah, Watermelon said, "Squat." All right. Well, that's not what I meant when I said go redeem a point. But sure, we can do squats here. Um, just give me a sec. I'll catch up and then we'll do squats here. But you know, everybody does a squat. Remember, I say this every time, but whenever I am forced to do the squats, you're also doing it with us. Watermelon says, I think I can use my points for better costs. Wait, Watermelon, did you change your name? What was your name before? Because the way you're speaking sounds very familiar. Like someone else that's not called Watermelon. Are you an imposter? All right, let's do it. Admit it, you just wanted to see my full body. A little exposed. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, solid squats, I think. Right there. Whew. Weather is really good right now. Light is really coming through. I might have to lower this blind for a little bit. At least I can make it so that it's not as reflective. Let's see, what can I put there? Like that. I just shoved a t-shirt on the little gap that's emitting the light. Oh, I just hit the monitor here. Hopefully that helps. Oh, shoot. Okay, good. I thought I missed some notification. Never mind. Whew. Watermelon says watermelon Sebula. Been the same all the time. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, thank you for the squats. And welcome to the stream again. Hey, yeah. Okay. Wait, did the berry folk crash? Oh, it did crash. What happened? It was the power of the squat. The squatting crashed it. That's kind of crazy. All right, let's do it again. I shall summon the berries. There you go. Okay. Celine says MMORPG. You mean MMOGPG? Massively multiplayer online blueberry growing game. MMOBGG. Yeah, right. We're not akin to very specific type of berries. We're equal opportunity for all berries. I feel like I have really weird reflected light on my face. Oh, it's green because of the green screen. It's okay, I guess. I guess I could overtake it with this light. Counteract the green. It's not too terrible. Let's see. Greenzra. I mean, it's thematically appropriate. Change berry. Let's see if I can get a big berry. Change berry. Okay, I guess this is my biggest berry. Tony is the biggest one. Tony is the fattest berry here. A proud berry owner. And I think the label positioning seems okay now. That seems okay, yeah. Celine says, why do emoticons work on mobile but not PC? They automatically change to Twitch emotes, which is dumb. They're trying to make it a feature, but it's unnecessary, I guess. Tony says, change berry folk to blueberry folk. Wow. Wow, things are working. This is great. Okay. What's next? I said crowns. Ooh, yeah, I do like the crown idea. Well, the big... I mean, like... You already are big. Is there any satisfaction? Okay, you guys tell me. If you get a little gold, silver, and bronze crown for being the biggest berry, would you be satisfied, or would you want a crown for something else? Should we hand out crowns for different things? Oh my gosh, I definitely smacked that fly. What are some things that should be crowned for? Hey, Anshi. Well, actually, Eden. Gosh, you really need to change your name. Celine also needs to change their name. Y'all need to change your names. Celine says, could crowns be for total berries? Yes. Let's do total berry with the crown. How about that? We'll do that. We're going to draw some crowns here. 16 by 16 crown. Okay. I think this is the best way to do pixel crown, right? Something like that. Boom. Maybe something like that. Okay, wait just a second. It doesn't look like a crown anymore. That little... Hold on. I mean, it really depends on the shading, honestly. The shading will make it look more crown-like. You know what? I think that's good enough. What I'm going to do here is that we're probably going to have little gold crown, which is more of a brown crown or orange crown, I guess. And the way that works, probably do one of these, of course. And then like that. And then go real dark. I'm definitely doing the banding on the wrong part, but we'll figure it out, I'm sure. Hold on, maybe I need to go all the way around. And then have this be like this. Oops. And give this thing like that. I think that's good enough, honestly. That looks kind of goldish. And then like that. Gold crown. Crown for the king of kicking. Ooh, that does seem a little bit fun. Doesn't it? Like, and I don't know. Hi, Void, by the way. Or Blood Mage. Let's see. Eden says... Celine says, size is for amount of berries of this specific type. Crown is for entire collection. Eden says, I don't know any good username with Eden, but it's somewhere on the bottom of my to-do list. Okay. All right. Sounds good. I won't rush you. I'll just remember. Not me blaming you for just wrongly naming you. Celine says, oh, hey, Eden, you probably heard about Skong in 4 days. What's Skong? Celine says, can't wait for Zope Boat 2032. Have no idea. McCory says, it's a little guy going, ooh. Yeah, the little circle and dot kind of looked like that. I think this actually is pretty cool. That doesn't feel bad. Kind of like this. Yeah. And like that. I mean, I do want to outline this so that it looks better, but maybe not. This like that? Okay, that doesn't look half bad. I like that. Okay. Not bad. Cool. Celine says, also, TC said in an interview they had more ambitious goals. They straight up said they have a plan for a game more ambitious than Silksong. Oh, yeah, Silksong. Silksong is coming out 5 days before my birthday, I believe. My birthday is the 8th, everyone. You don't have to remember it, but it's happening. And I'll be a year older. Hopefully, year wiser. But make says kicking Ezra is 3 points, mods 2, and regular berries 1. That's funny, actually. I love that idea. I like that little gameplay. Great. It should do that. I'm going to do kick counts now. I was like, what's Zopo? But I remember Zote from the, what do you call? Not Silksong, Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is one of my favorite, what is it, Metrovania, so I am excited. I am also scared that I'm going to be disappointed. But of course, that means I have to make a video about that, right? So I'm going to play it. I'm going to beat it and do a little spoiler-free video on it. Celine says, hey, Ezra, what if you had the number 1, 2, and 3 inside the crown? Yes, I will. I think that's a great idea. I just got to make sure... yeah, like that. Is that okay? That looks like number 1, right? Yeah. I don't know how I'm going to write the 2, but we'll find out. I'm not going to worry too much yet. Maybe I do it like this. 1. Okay. That's pretty cool. Okay. Get a project. Where is it? Twitch Gachapon. Yeah. Under Berry Folks status. Crown number 1. And then we're going to make crown number 2 here in a bit. McCoy says, as you've been programming for 10 plus years, I have a problem and need help. Okay, let me know what the question is. Anshi says, Skong is Silk Song. I was like, what? Okay. McCoy says, question. Eden says, my birthday is 31st, so a few days before Silk Song release. Wow. We're meant to play Silk Song here after all. McCoy is asking, I am stuck in programming standstill. I want to go and program something, make cool things, but when I try, I just sit there and nothing gets written. I want to know if you have dealt with that and know of any way to help. I mean, it's like staring at a blank page. I think anybody who's done art also can kind of agree or share that experience. It's got a name. It's called a blank page syndrome, I think. The thing is, oftentimes the solution is to just write something and just start flowing, but it's not drawing, so it's a little bit different, right? For programming, I feel like programming starts from scratching on a scratch paper. You definitely need to kind of experiment with maybe writing some ideas down, I think. Maybe I don't do that. So try to come up with some like UI design, just start writing something. It doesn't have to be the program. That usually gets, your brain going and thinking about, oh, these are the things that people want or need. And, you go from there. I think. At least that helps me. I think the silver one, we're going to do this, maybe a little bit lighter. Maybe this is a little bit too bright, I think. And platinum 2. 2. Second place. Doesn't read as well. That's a little better. Okay. 2 here. And that will be crown number 2. Oops. I gotta delete this. Blumage says, art block, my eternal nemesis. Yeah, exactly. Celine says, my birthday is April 2nd. Only a couple of days after Silk Song. Only a couple, trust me. Exactly. Celine says, I had that issue recently, and what I did was just do some of those coding puzzles. That does help. That does help because it gets you kind of going. But also watching some ideas on what people are making gives you a little bit of inspiration. Because sometimes it's a lot easier to take what's already there and you find it like, oh my gosh, that looks cool, right? Or playing a game or working with some software and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so fun. I wonder what I can do with that to like make little changes. Leak code, yeah, that could help. Eden says, I don't know if there's an equivalent for programming, but for art, it really helps that my sketchbook has these tiny dots all over the place. So even if I'm drawing a blank, I can start just drawing squares between the dots, and then it turns into a figure, then suddenly a drawing. It's very much drawing a blank. Yeah, that's a great idea. I do think that there's some benefit in trying to, what do you call? Yeah, I'm going to do it this way. I'm trying to do a little bit of sketching, because ideas do require sketch, even if it's code. I know this because my sketchbook is actually used to be filled with project ideas. Who wants the poop? who wants the? Who wants this poop crown? It kind of looks poopy. I have to go like this. I'll go a little bit greener, so it's like more coppery, I guess. Is the poop crown that everybody wants. All right, whatever. Good enough. Don't complain, okay? You signed up for this. Boop. 1, 2, 3 here. All right. The poop princess crown. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Celine says, "Gosh, I'm honestly thankful you started streaming now. The results for my finals come out tomorrow, and my anxiety is sky high. Lamau. It's like midnight and I can't sleep. Oh, I'm sorry. I know that can be hard. Waiting is always difficult." Celine also says, "I know it's quite different from the current conversation. Apologies for changing." No, it's okay. We are fluid. We are not locked into a spot. We go with the flow. There's no absolute truth. It is what we will it to be. Well, at least I am fluid. Anyways, let's see. Somebody says, "Couldn't make it orange for copper." You're right. We can go a little bit more orange. I just want to make sure it's not confused. It distinguishes itself from that other one, the gold. Because gold is kind of yellow, and yellow and orange is similar. Somebody's like, "Ezra, they're not similar." Like, I know, but, you know, like, I'm kind of colorblind, so it's kind of similar. I mean, it's neighbory enough that it feels it could be the same. Maybe I can just go deeper. I don't know. I mean, this kind of looks gold already because of the orange. Like, here. Can you tell the difference between these two? I don't think so. It's just like darker, basically. Maybe I shift it redder. See what happens. Like that. Looks pretty intense, actually. Let's free this up a little bit. Like so. Is that better? I think so. 3, yes. And then this is 2, yes. And then 1. Yay, crowns are ready. I do wonder how it's going to look on the figures, so let's find out. Let's see. Sorry. Pandemicious says, I am the piss princess. Okay, that's great. Fender says, but really I'm not. But what is the most black color ever? Or is it even color anymore? So he says, okay, this is probably overscoping, but I had a really funny idea. What if anyone who's dethroned has a broken crown? Ooh, that could be fun. But how long does it stay on you, the broken crown? Pendemicius also says, I can tell for sure. You know I am designer. You're a designer? Oh, you can tell the color difference. So I'm sure you can, but the problem is that, you know, we don't want to adjust it for the people who can see the best. We want to adjust it for people who can't see the best, right? That's the what do you call that? Accessibility. So I don't know. I mean, if I adjust for myself, at least it does something because I am colorblind. I am partially colorblind, not entirely. Okay, nobody has the crown right now, right? What if I save this? Does it look like everybody got one? I might have to restart the app. And then I guess this could should the crown also scale? Or should it be a tiny crown on top of like big person? Pandemicius says it looks like Stinky from Mooming, you know. Google it. Stinky from Mooming. All right, I'm gonna Google this off stream because. Oh, I see. Oh, cute. I didn't know that was the name of that character. Celine says, forever as sort of, yeah, you got this far. Well done. For people who can't see the best, just say my name, Lamau, like half blind already. Well, I mean, if you have ways to see. Celine says, Ezra, make sure crown doesn't clip with the name tag. Yeah, I want to make it so that it's on top of the berry. And I think that's probably appropriate. So we might have to restart the whole Berry Folk app real quick before the crowns can be placed. But before I do all of that, I'm going to probably set this up. Crown status 0 by default. And that's going to update the crown. So we'll do set value crown status. Well, who determines? Okay, wait, hold on. Each berry, when they successfully kick something, they can determine, or there could be a global thing that determines who gets the crown. I should probably do it at the global. So this will be only visual representation. It doesn't. The berries don't keep count. A global status would keep count of how many. Doesn't sound like a good idea, actually. We'll do a kick count here. Var kick counter, which will be int. And then, let's see. Celine says, I find the idea of crown saying tiny on Mega Berry absolutely hilarious. Don't change it. Okay. I'll keep it tiny. And then kick counter is for the number. And does this refresh every stream? I feel like yes, but I just wanted to check with everyone. The ranking. Pandemicious says, why don't you use Unreal Engine? Better workflow. I mean, some people enjoy Unreal Engine more. I like Godot. I like the fact that it's open source, first of all. And I have no business in working in 3D at the moment, so I don't really need Unreal. Plus, I make Godot content, so there's no real reason for me to change. But I do like to develop and help Godot get better, to help more people get accessible game engine. At least that's the philosophy. Celine says, yeah, the crown should probably change every stream. Yeah, I think so. So I'm not going to keep track of who got the crown. Maybe there could be like monthly ranking. I'm not sure what that's going to do, but that could be interesting. This is going to be confusing, but we'll see. We have a kick counter here, and that we're going to make it so that every time a kick lands, so if there's an overlap, right? And when we're applying force to a berry folk, we simply up the kick counter. Right. I don't know if it should be kick counter or you kick the person with the crown. So to start, like a developer Ezra's berry, would have the crown number 1. And whoever gets that will get the number 1 crown. And then it'll switch to crown number 2. And then whoever kicks me will get number 2. And whoever kicks the other guy would get number 1. And it's like catch the flag or something like that. Capture the flag. Mikori says, Ezra, did I tell you how my math grade got bumped from B+ to A because I emailed my professor about question he marked incorrectly? Wow. Impressive. Well done. Well done reaching out. Yes. Definitely have to show up for that. Congrats. No, you didn't tell me. That's exciting. Okay. Kick counter or capture the flag? If I do capture the flag, I guess there needs to be some strategy here. Only difference right now is that the Barry Allen is fast and Fig Berry jumps. Celine says, I'm going to go try to catch some sleep. Lol, it's almost midnight here. See ya. Okay, bye, Celine. I can see it. It says not like this. Can you not see the not like this emote on your end? Eden says, I keep forgetting that people go to school. Lol. Good night, Celine. Oh, it's just the Texas. Well, for us, at least we can see it. Pendomisha says, have you ever done anything with Unreal Engine? No, well, technically I have, but not really. I had some Unreal Engine experience because when I was in Amazon and I was working closely with Amazon Games and my voice assistant game team, Alexa Games team, we were making tooling. So we were researching a lot of different game engines to see if we can mimic anything. And, one of the things we looked at was like the blueprint. And so that way we looked into it. But I never actually developed anything from it. So no 3D modeling experience. Most of my professional career, which is like 10 plus years, has been basically like regular tech software, a lot of backends, not even like application. I have limited application experience. It's mostly server and data. So, all right, bye, Celine. Let's see. Okay, so we have this going on. The kick counter is now going. For now, I'll say number. Okay, I do think that it needs to be capture the flag. Because the kick counter, the problem with the kick counter is that it encourages people to spam the chat. Right? Because if it's just whoever kicks the most, people are going to just kick the whole time. There's no gameplay in there. So... And probably there needs to be a little cooldown, but I have used Autodesk softwares. AutoCAD I used extensively back in the day. Back in the day, this was like 14 years ago because I worked in. So I was physics major and I worked in a nanotechnology technology center in school as my part time job, and I was a process engineer. That's not software engineer. That's like it's called nanolithography, where you shoot. There's a machine, like a really expensive machine called JBL lithography machine. And then a whole deal is that there's only like three of these in US, or three locations that owns this machine in US, which is my school, Cornell, and I believe Intel had it. And so I was responsible for teaching like other grad students and or like other researchers how to use it, or like tell them like what dosage to use to get a clear definition on their basically lithography, which is the process of making like nanoscale structures. So when you're making those structures, the way you make it is by drawing things on AutoCAD. So a little bit of experience there. Not extensive. Pandemicious says, by the way, one tip for you. Bring your code to ChatGPT and tell it to find some errors. Yeah, I would love to do that. But I really enjoy just thinking about the error and figuring things out. So far, from my experience, I've said this many times. From my experience, I had no need to bring anything to generative AI to help me code. In fact, the few examples I've seen, I felt like it would have been faster to solve if I solved it myself. You know what I mean? But that's, it's a matter of getting used to things. Blemish the same as gotta go. Good night and have a good one, berry folks. Also, capture the flag sounds fun. Switching berries for best strategy will be fun to see. Yeah. Okay. Sounds great. Thank you. Bible Mage. We'll do capture the flag here. Eden says, I remember now one of my friends did that for his database and has optimized it so well that it didn't run anymore. Did what? Did that? Pandemicia says, good to hear, but it can help you understand more. Yeah, I'm sure. Of course, like I think using tooling when you don't understand and when you're trying to discover it is always helpful. But, I think it's still best to understand things by thinking about it a little more than try to find answers quickly sometimes. I mean, it's the same thing, right? Like when you go to school and then you're like, oh, here's a homework, and then you study for it. Of course, actually, most of the books or most of the homework questions you get, even in college, you can find the answer online, and there are things that can solve it for you. But then the point is never to just get the answer, right? And sometimes you can reverse engineer. Sometimes I've done that. I looked at the answer and tried to arrive at the answer myself. But oftentimes, finding the answer is just kind of ends to a mean. And it's like a last resort. Eden says, oh, using Gen AI to help find errors. Oh, I see. I remember how one of my friends did that for his database and optimized it so well that it didn't run anymore. Oh, yeah. No, so I keep saying this. Okay, well, I mean, look, if it helps you, it helps you. If it works for you, it works for you. It's a good tool for people who need it. For me, from what I can tell, it gets more in the way than helpful. So, but it's just, of course, it's always better to think with your own brains. Sometimes. Oh, shoot. Why am I? Okay, I made a mistake here. I'm in art category right now. Game development. Whoops. Nobody told me. Software and game development. There you go. Weird. I thought it would have updated. People who are probably like, well, hey, what are you doing here? All right, I updated that. Fair should be good. Um, there you go. That's better. Okay. Where was I? Where was I? Okay, so I was doing the kick. Oh, yes, capture the flag. Okay, so what first thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to code this logic in, and then I'm going to restart the berry folk. Oh my gosh. I have a light beard. Oh my god, I'm going to get burnt here. I'm going to close the window. Okay. That should be good. Am I more visible now? I'll up the lighting here so it's a little bit better. Goodness. That was pretty some intense highlight on my face. Yeah, I would have gotten a 10. Orokusaki says it would have gotten a sick Batman 10 though. Yeah. People were like, wait, do you have a secret identity? I can't tell. I won't tell anyone. Eden says, I have yet to find use case for Gen AI that I would rather make AI do than do myself because all the things it's supposed to be good at are things I like to do myself. Yeah, I mean, I think that's also a thing. You know what's funny about the whole art thing? I keep telling people this, and I'm probably going to post on my art account as one of the things because it's a hot topic. When did art become technical? It's not a technical skill, right? Like, I mean, yes, there is a technical aspect to it. But what we say art, not visual art, just art in general, is art because it has meaning that's imbued by the person who's creating it. And oftentimes, those masterworks that sell for really, really like high millions and millions of dollars or whatever nowadays are only valuable because of the story it carries and then the person that it belonged to. And just like antique, right? Antique is useless in most cases, and people collect these things, and it has a story that becomes more expensive, and people love having a moment of history as part of their life. So, like, there's a part of the space that can't be. I mean, in that same sense, you could say, oh, well, this art has a story of it being a first ever AI generated thing and it had this thing, blah, blah, blah. Sure, you could say that. But I think there's a whole like individuality that people are missing out on of like, hey, like, yeah, sure, functionally, commercially speaking, you know, nobody's going to frame your art from commercial from like 1998 and then sell that as art. But, you know, don't forget, there are many wide variety of definition of what art means. And it's not all pretty colors and sellable features. That's part of it, but it's not all of it. It's how I feel. Okay. Anyways, so we're kicking counter. We're going to say basically definitely want to have the same thing here. So I'm going to do var crown status, which will be int. By default, it's going to be 0. And if you kick someone with the crown, you receive those. And you know what? I think you can have multiple crowns. And if you have multiple crowns, it's like health. You take the lowest crown, the highest crown goes away first. So if you have 1, 2, 3, if somebody kicks you, you lose 1 first. And then you get 2, 3 like that, right? I think so. Okay, let's do that. So instead of it being a crown status, I think it'll be an array of crowns, right? Crowns, array, and it'll be some integer here. And basically, I'm going to do, let's see, VBox or HBox container here. And then, oh, maybe we don't even need to do that. I think we can just overlap them. Have them overlap so that, what if it's stacked on top of each other? That'd be funny. Let's do that. So we're going to change type. I'm going to do VBox container. And instead of using sprite here, we'll use texture rect, right? Crown 1, texture rect, crown 2, and then texture rect, crown 3. And then we're just going to simply do this. And we're going to just stack on top of each other with separation. Let's make this keep and no scale. Keep size, no scale, keep size, no scale. Keep size, and it's going to be minimum. Let's see. 2, 16. There you go. And then the height really doesn't matter. We're just going to make it so that the separations are negative. So it stacks on top of each other kind of nicely. Separation will be -8, -9. I want it to be on top of each other. 10, like that. Look at that. Like that. Ooh, all right, beautiful. And then that's going to probably, let's see, we'll do 32 here and have this customize and grow the direction top. Well, actually, is that gonna, I want it to grow like upwards so that it looks like this. Eden says, I have yet to find, oh no, I already read that. Okay, so we already read the chats. Oof, okay, I got confused. Let's see here. I suppose, I don't know. Actually, this might be okay. I'm just going to do it like this. And I wonder if I can make it custom. The grow direction doesn't seem to really impact like the visibility changes. Like it impacts it when I'm, for example, if I don't have this and I go, well, this is only this big and I add it, it grows up. But if I get rid of it, it doesn't do anything. I have to just do one of these things here. Watermelon says that 3 on the crown looks kind of weird, like 3 with extra step. I mean, it's because there's only so many pixels. It's hard to get it to read. How about, because if I do this, for example, it doesn't really read well. I mean, I guess I could do this instead. No, it doesn't read well either. You know? You know what I mean? And pixel art is all about readability. But if you think this reads better, we will do it. Okay. All right. So I think what I'm going to do here is have this be a crown holder. And I think I'm going to get rid of all this for now and make the size be 0 and have it be right here. Oh, you know what? I don't even need to do this. Ah, I'm silly. I'm a silly Willy person. Here, hold on. Actually, if I do this and alignment, it'll align from the bottom instead. Forgot that I can do that. So for example, now it's going to go like that. Yeah. Okay. Crown 1, 2, 3. Cool. That's the crown holder. We don't need this anymore. I think I can just pull the crown. Say crown holder here. And basically, if you kick someone, watermelon, already read that. Okay. So if you kick someone successfully, maybe I'll do something with the kick counter, but basically if that berry, where we go, hey, this, if crown holder has children or like children or child count. Yeah, get child count is greater than 0. Then we'll probably steal one. I suppose. I'm trying to think about the best way to do this. I want the... Wait, is my berry folk frozen? Oh, my berry folk is frozen. What the heck? Okay. There. Oh. Everybody's got a crown. All right, well, I guess it's bonus, everyone. You get a crown for now. All right, I'll get rid of this. Boop. No more crown for you. Actually, I should probably do it this way. You can't have a third place crown, everyone. Okay. All right, the way we're going to do this here now is, first of all, we're probably going to do stuff like a little function get top crown, and that's going to give us a number, which will be berry folk crown holder. It's going to just say boop child count. Well, I guess I should do this for crown and crown holders get children. These are all texture. If the name, because they're named already, I think. watermelon's kicking. You can't steal the crown just yet, but nice try. If the crown has a name or index, I guess I should do the index here. For all of them, we're going to get the highest. So var highest visible crown is 0. And then we're going to say if crown is visible or is visible and the crown's index, get index, or I guess I can't really do that. Returns this node's old order among its sibling. Yeah. If the index is index +1, I guess. +1, which is 1, 2, 3 now. I guess we should do -1 here instead. -1. No. 0 is okay, I think. If the crown is visible, and then if they're ranking, because we want to find the smallest one. So we'll say lowest visible crown. And we'll say if the crown holder's index is less than, right? We'll just do this right now. Lowest visible crown. If the lowest visible crown is greater than the currently visible crown, then we're going to assign this value. Right. So what this is 4 implies no crown, 3 bronze, 2 silver, 1 gold. Like that. Hello, dumb kid. You made me say that. I'm sure you're not. Says, what are you doing? I'm working on my Godot, and it's the game that we're working on here. It's our Twitch integration game. So you can see there are berries on the screen at the bottom. You can get them through Twitch redemption. For example, planting a berry seed and watering them, and then you get these like a little bit of a gachapon type of situation where you have limited number of collections so you can collect different types of berries. Right now, we're making some game mode. We're doing a little capture the crown thing. So I'm trying to make it so that people can kick, which you can already do. You can use a kick command to kick each other. I'm trying to make it so that you can steal crowns from other berries by kicking them. So a little friendly kick game within the community. Anyways, all right. So that will do that. Get top crown. So we're gonna do every time I kick someone, we're gonna see what their top crown is. Boop. Get top crown. And if this is, I guess, var kicking crown, if kicking crown is less than 4, that means we kicked someone with the, what do you call, position. So we'll say func give crown, which will be void here. And then we'll have remove crown here. And simply removing crown and kicking crown is just from the crown holder, get child in that crown index, crown, -1. If crown is less than 0 or greater than 3, then we're just not going to do anything here. Same thing. And simply, we're going to say crown holder, get child in that index, and make it visible. And then same thing here, make it invisible. So if it is that, we're going to say, hey, berry folk, remove crown, and then give crown, like so. And now I'm going to turn off everybody's crown here. And let's see. Let's see if it works, shall we? We're going to give myself the crown here. It's one of these. Dumpkid says, seems cool. Thank you. Appreciate that. It's a lot of fun. The collectible bit was fun for a lot of people in the beginning. Sure91 says, by the way, I just joined here because of you. I talked to you before by my friend account, Pandemicious. Oh, I see. You're on your friend's account. Okay. Hi. Welcome, welcome. Appreciate it. Appreciate it for coming here with your real account. Life is just highway. Let's see. Yep. Yeah, Sure91. Sure91? Really? Is that your favorite? Sure Beta. 91A. I don't know. Depending on your purpose, I guess, and goal. It is a kind of good all-rounder. I haven't been in the space in a while, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so remove crown, crown, crown. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to, let's see, go to berry area. Let's see. This is everyone here, right? I'm going to give myself, which, I don't know which one is me. I guess I could tell by the size here. 1.25, that's not it. 1.5, potentially. 2.25, that must be me. Yeah, I'm the biggest one, right? Okay, so I'm going to give myself all the crowns here. Okay. All right, I have 3 crowns on me. So technically, if someone kicks me right now, that should steal one of my crowns. So let's do that. I don't know if Mikori's busy or not. But somebody kick me, please. And if you don't have a berry, please get your berries out here. You just redeem plant seed and then water them and you'll have a berry. And then you can kick me. Like so. Kick. I think that should work. Though I guess I could give it to Mikori and I can try to kick Mikori myself instead. Oh, you missed. The timing will be a little difficult. We'll see. I'm watching here. Watermelon goes. Watermelon. Ah, it's so hard to get it because of delay. Ah! Oh, you gotta anticipate the delay. Yeah, I mean it is a hard task. No doubt about that. I have no delay, obviously, so I'm cheating. How many seconds do you have? How many seconds of delay do you have? Oh well, I mean, you can try. At least it's here. I guess I could make the announcement here. Announcement. Let's change this. Kick to steal crowns. Boop. Like that. I think that's a new announcement now. Okay, cool. I think that's working, I want to say. Let's see. Kick. All right, there it is. It's up to you guys. You all to get the right kick timing here. I do want to. I don't know. It's really hard. 5 seconds? No way. 5 seconds? Really? That bad, huh? I mean, I got rid of as much delay as I can. Like it lets me. But it's also kind of out of my control sometimes. Is my voice delayed? That's probably another question. I don't know how I'm going to tell you. Here, how about this? Here's a trick. I'm going to type onto the chat when you should kick to kick me. Okay, Watermelon? Ready? So I'm going to do dot like that. Wait. I'm going to type whatever. And as soon as you see me type kick, okay? So here's practice. Ready? Ready? Here we go. Practice. There you go. Beautiful. Okay. Here we go. We're going to do this. I'm going to get kicked. Here we go. Here we go. Nito. Yes, yes. All right. You're way over there. It won't come back. Wait. You missed me. How did it happen? I feel like that should have worked. Maybe it was because you were facing the wrong way. Oh, Hasi's about to get it. Hasi! Ah! Not quite. I don't think Watermelon's going to come over here anymore. Same thing, Hasi. Oh, I think we're about to get here. All right, Hasi, ready? Oh, you kicked Genius. Kick me! No. All right, Watermelon, here we go. Watermelon. We're almost there. Sure says, you know before why I mentioned Unreal Engine? Because that's what I've been using myself, I see. Kick! Watermelon kick! Oh, yes! Okay, you did it. But it didn't steal the crown. Good job kicking me, but the crown didn't work. Ah, that's so annoying. Okay, I'm going to do something else now. I'm going to get rid of my crown and give crown to probably other people here. So I can test it myself, honestly. I'll give crown to you. I'll give crown to you, I guess. And then I'll give crown to you, whoever you are. There you go. Okay, everybody's got a little bit of crown. I'm going to come over here. Let's see. I'll do a little print stealing crown, kicking crown like that. And we'll see if this works. All right. I shall steal. Okay, here you go. Here you go. Hasi, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Okay. No print. Wait, what? Huh. All right, I'm gonna do this again. Something is wrong here. I want to know what the value I'm getting is. Lowest visible crown. Okay. I'm gonna try it again. Okay, I got Mikori. And that was 4. Huh. Wait, what? How's that possible? Crown holder. The crown is visible. And if the index is lower than the visible crown. Huh, weird. Oh, crown holder. Gee. Okay. I was getting the index of the crown holder. But yeah, you know, just to answer you, I know you said you were asking because you use an Unreal Engine yourself. I mean, I heard learning it is pretty easy with all the documentation and everything. It's just, I've used Unity before and I switched to Godot and I just haven't looked back since. Sure, 91 says easy in quote. I mean, depends on your programming experience, I guess. It's like learning a new tool and language. It's generally the same experience. You're just like trying to figure out what it is that program does, relatively speaking. It's easy in big quotes, yeah. But what I deem low effort may be different than what you deem low effort. Like if it takes like 1 month or 2 months to get started, that's still considered low effort to me. Okay. Stealing crown number 2. Somebody stole crown number 2. Did that work? Seems like it didn't work. It registered properly, but it didn't really do anything. I'm going to try to steal it now. All right, Hasi, I'm getting your number 3 crown. Come on. I'm coming for you. Oh, okay. That would be... Oh, it says stealing number 2, which is correct. 012. So it triggered appropriately. So it got the right crown number. But if the crown is less than 0 or greater than 3, return it. Otherwise, we're going to make it visible. I wonder why that didn't work. I'm going to do it this way. Sure says, even though I've studied it for 5 years, I still only know a fraction of it. Okay, well, I mean, then... Okay, so, well, I think you know enough. When I say easy, I don't mean like it's easy to master it, right? If you can get started to a certain point, that's easy. It's hard to master anything. But you know, if you're 3 years in, you know how to find information. Like if you don't know something, you know how to figure it out. It takes some time, but you know how to figure it out. Okay. All right, it's working here. Crown is 0. So number 1 crown I'm stealing, and I'm going to make it visible, right? Oh, why is it doing multiple times? And why? Huh. Oh, I know what it is. Whoops. I got to do it like this. Give crown to self and remove it from the other person. There you go. That should do it. Sure says it depends on what you're doing. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I guess maybe I misspoke by saying easy or hard. I mean, that's usually not the right measurement of difficulty. It's more like depending on where you want to be. But if you know how to figure it out, I think you've gotten to a place where you want to be. Now, the next level is if you can figure things out without struggling. Yay, I did it. Okay. Crown is stealable now. Sick. I'm going to try to steal everybody's crown real quick here. I might have to change my berry to be a fast one so I can move faster. All right, go, go, go. Go, go, go. All right, here we go. I'm going to steal Mikuri's crown real quick. All right, I got one. I'm gonna steal one from Hasi now. I'm waiting for Hasi to come around. Come on, Hasi. Yes. Sure says maybe the real question is how do you learn to optimize things better? You mean like to make it more performant? Or are you optimizing for readability? I mean, it really depends on what the question of that is. Yeah, performant, that one is a little bit... Ooh, you took it. Aha, I took it all, watermelon. Do you have a programming degree, or have you learned programming officially, or have you been self-taught? And how long have you been programming? Because that's reason I'm asking this is because there's part of optimization and just generally learning what already exists that's easier to follow along when there's a curriculum, right? Because you're forced to go through the boring part, which is but you know if you've been doing it for 5 years, you understand the whole like the big thing in software engineering is always like understanding the complexity of, you know, understanding what the complexity of your code is, for example, right? That's, we call it big O, which I'm sure you understand what that is, right? Sure says, I know and I hate the boring part of it. But the unfortunate part is that those things, when that becomes like when those things become second nature for you, then figuring out optimization becomes a little bit more intuitive. And even if you know that, there are surprising ways to figure things out that are like, whoa, I didn't know I could do that, which is the beauty of it. But Emo Pig says, I don't know what big O means anymore. Also, first, hey, Emo. You'll be happy to know. Wait, why does Emo Pig have all the crowns? Okay, let me restart this so that it's properly done. Just give me a second. Okay, I'm going to explain something about first because it's relevant. All right, I'm going to spawn everyone in here. I don't know if you were here when I was developing the berry folks. But basically, you didn't earn those crowns. I'm going to give myself the crown because, as you can see, okay, so a few things, updates here. Your berries are as big as number of collections you have. Like, so if you have like 5 berries, for example, normal berry, you have 3 normal berries, so you're normal sized. And you can change into different berries. If you have less of it, you're smaller. 2, there's a first redemption now in the Twitch redemption. Right now, because I restarted, nobody claimed it yet. If you redeem it, if you're the first one to redeem it, you get a little finger. Watermelon got it. Wow, as soon as I said it, Watermelon just grabbed it. Nice. Um, and then now I'm going to give myself the 3 crowns, which I guess I got to find myself first. Wow, that went out like a hot commodity. All right, so I have the 3 crowns. You can kick people with crowns to steal their crown. So I have 3 of them, right? It'll always take the topmost one. So if somebody kicks me right now, they'll get the number 1 crown. And then if I get kicked again, number 2 crown goes away. Blah blah blah. There's some delay, so that's going to be a little bit difficult. So there's that. So little gamification here. I know there's a delay. I mean, that's part of the game, I think. Better get, you can't blame the latency on the company who made the game. Lag, blame the lag. Okay. Emo Pig also said, can you teach us Big O notation? I really never learned it. That's a lie. You learned it. Are you just saying that? Are you trying to give me some content here? All right. I can do it. I will do it. I skipped classes. I guess. Well, there's a lesson, everyone. You can skip classes and still do well in the industry. So we don't need it. I can teach Big O. I don't know why we call it Big O. That I don't remember. Why is it called Big O? Maybe it's operation, short for operation. Pig says, I am essentially self-taught too. Like, sure. Okay. Oh my gosh. I searched why. Oh, hold on. Big O. Big O notation is called Big O because letter O stands for Ordnung. Ordnung, O-R-D-N-U-N-G, the German word for order, which refers to the growth rate or order of magnitude of function. I see. Interesting. Okay, this is a little going back to school 13 years back or whatever, 15 for emo pigs to learn some of the basic computer science stuff that they skipped. And it's helpful for optimization, so why not? Let's talk about it. Hasi says, if answered, sorry to ask again, could you please compare Godot and Unity based on your experience? In which aspects is one better than the other? I don't know if it's necessarily better than the other. Unity is definitely more complete and industry standard. So if you learn Unity, you have more chance of getting a job, if that's what you want. That's a clear winner, clear difference that you can't ignore. Aside from that, obviously Unity's been in development longer, so it probably has more asset store things like plugins, some resources and asset store stuff, all of that. But the downside, huge downside, is that the Unity is owned by a public company, so they are profit first. They're focused on profit. Which means if you make a successful game, then you have to pay them a certain amount of money. And a few different versions of all that, right? It costs money, and they take portions of your revenue if you make it big. Godot, on the other hand, is open source. So one benefit is that if you become a big studio that needs a very specific need on the game engine, this is a real problem that big companies have all the time. Either you make a fork of existing game engine to make your own game engine, or people make their own game engine in-house, right? Because they have a very specific things they need to do for their games. Unity, if you want a new feature that are specific to your need, you need to request to them, and they have to make the changes. Benefit of being an open source is that you can cut those tickets publicly and somebody can work on it. And even you can work on the engine because the code is open. That's one huge benefit. Also, it's free. No licensing fee. So, yeah. Imapig says, sure, my friend is moving to Finland. She's selling all her stuff and shipping her car. What? Oh, geez, I missed a bunch of chat. Delay kick, I skipped class. I'm essentially self-taught. Hasi asked about the thing. Shore says, can you answer me? Answer you what? What did you ask? Oh, whoops. Shore says, sorry for asking an irrelevant question, but what do you know about Finland? I know nothing about Finland. I've never been. I never looked into it, so. Not to say anything bad about Finland, I just don't know it. I see that there's a friendly war. I want to see if any crown has been taken yet. Wow, nobody took the crown yet. Huh. It must be that hard, huh? Maybe the game is a little bit too difficult. 5-second delay for some people, apparently. She's selling all her stuff to shipping her car. Helsinki. Okay, I see. Sorry, but it's not a good city. It's just a friend. Sure says, I lived there for 15 years. Nice. As he says, got it. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. I'm sure there are more comparisons you can see, but those are the major things. At least that's the difference that you should consider for choosing one over the other. In any case, if you're just starting out, you just need to learn something. It doesn't really matter which one you learn. I just like Godot better because conceptually, philosophically, open source just feels better than a company. Orokusaki says, you finished, sure? Moi. Oh, we got a lot of Finnish people out here, apparently. Imoku says, I made a VR game in Unity once a long time ago. Unity is very different, I think, since then. But yes. Fun stuff. I mean, no reason to choose one over the other, but I personally just like Godot at this point. Let's see. Big O. Apparently means order. When computer executes stuff, it executes one at a time, right? And that execution has certain operation count. This, like, let's say the smallest count, it takes 1 millisecond. It doesn't. But it doesn't really matter if it's 1 millisecond. We can, quantize it by saying one line, one simple line. The smallest execution operation is one operation, right? I think that's easy to understand. Please stop me if I lose anyone here. Especially, I think we're talking about Imapig than anyone, honestly. Because Imapig requested this. So one line is one operation. That is not to say, like, if you put multiple commands in a single row, it's one operation. It's like one entity of calculation is one operation, is what I'm saying. Okay. Wait, Django says on YouTube says, also working with Unity, make progress a lot slower. If you change a single column, you have to wait a whole minute. It's the main reason why I started to work with Godot. I did hear about bad performance in Unity because it comes with a lot of bloat. Now, from far more amazing country, Sweden. Oh, there's a Finnish and Swedish rivalry in the chat here. Emapix says, all you're lucky you're not in the US. Yeah, US is kind of scary right now. Watermelon says 3 crowns at once? Crazy. Wait, did you take all of them? Oh, no. Okay, that's not intended, but whatever. Play with that for now. I'll fix that later. It's supposed to be one at a time, but I guess it takes the whole thing. I guess that makes sense. Oh, I know what's happening. You know what? I can fix that real quick. Or keep a bookmark on what I was saying, if you're listening. We should probably only be able to kick someone if they're not velocity. I guess I should apply force 1, 2, 3 times. I guess already apply force. I guess that's a thing. And I need to refresh the contact frame once the force or animation cycle is done, I think. So over here, in a single frame, okay, this is going to be a little bit complicated. I'll do that later. All right, so operation is single one operation, right? Cool. One operation, emo pigs. I know you're talking about Finnish and Swedish, but here, one operation, because I'm doing this for you. One operation is one line. Cool. All right. So the major thing is that if you have a program, if you're running a program and it goes beep, 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 you got to say what big O, meaning how fast is this program? Not by the second, but by the number of quote unquote operation. And you can say, hey, well, these are 4 operations, right? And the question goes, is it 4 operation every time? So if this is a function, right? If it's a function, every time I run this function, regardless of the parameter that I provide, is it 4 every time? If that's yes, it's constant, right? Meaning no matter the size of the parameter, no matter the size of the input, it always runs at constant time. So what it means is that if it is 1, if it is 5, if it's 10, if it's 100, it doesn't matter. If it runs same number of operation every single time, then it's considered constant because it's running constantly, consistently, right? So any non-varying operation is constant. That is the fastest anything can be. We call it OFC, constant time. Need a real example? Okay. So if I say function swap A and B, and then this is like A equals B, and then B equals A, or whatever, the C, hold on. The whole, you know the deal. You put this over here. Doesn't matter. Okay, this is a bad code, but that's not the point. The point is this one just runs some swap logic, right? Obviously. Gosh, I want to fix this. So if we're swapping this, we have C equals, don't worry about the executionability of this actual code because it's not going to be executed properly. But hold on, G. Okay, so I just dereferenced the A, and so A can be B, and then B can be C, or something like that, right? So this runs. Okay, and you know what? This might be easier to understand if there's something to compare it to. Okay. Let me give you a logic. Function swaps. And then it takes, I don't know, array that's called A, and then array that's called B. And so this execution would be for, A, for everything in A, for each A, do a swap, actually, I guess for each A, for each B, do a, swap with A and B. For example, this is not going to run well, but that's not the point. The point is that let's imagine you have something like this. Okay, I'm going to put this over, I don't know, here, like this. Okay. 2 different functions. Pseudocode. Yeah, this is pseudocode. Hold on, let me catch up with the chat too. Oh my gosh, we got some Finnish conversation going on in the chat. Crazy. Everybody has their issues. Yeah. Government is corrupt everywhere. Unfortunately, it's hard to avoid that. Korea is also a mess right now. Hasi says, oh, crons are gone after I seeded another berry folk. Oh, no. Okay, so that's a bug. I definitely need to fix that. All right, so anyways, so Emo Pigs, can you tell the difference of operation time, right? Swap takes 3 operation every single time. Swaps take different amount of time based on how big A and B are, right? This one is O of 3 every single time, but this one depends on the size of A and size of B. Yeah. And we consider what this means. How fast does it grow? So if I say A goes from 1 to 2, or oops, the size of A changes from 1 to 2, right? How much does this change the number of operation? Right? And it's like I mean, that's the basis of it. And it's like counting up, right? So if we say, hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if we say every time we increase A, if the operation count goes up by 1, right? Then we say, well, it's big O of N, right? N is typical notation for how big things are. So that means every time the size of the parameter changes by 1, the operation increases by 1. Number of operation increases by 1, or constant time. So in this case, if we loop and do swap over and over again, we're going to be doing 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. So at 1, it's, oh my gosh, pen keeps changing. At one entity, it's going to be 3 operation. At 2 entity, it's going to be 6 operation. At 3 entity, it's going to be 9. And the way it's increasing is increasing by multiples of constant, right? So it's NC, multiples of constant. This doesn't matter what the constant is. It can be 100, 10, whatever. What's important is that, oh my gosh, is that this 3 to infinity, as long as it's constant, I mean, I guess infinity is technically mathematically not constant, but you get the point, is some sort of constant thing, a fastest thing. And if we say n, that means it's constant times n. But constant is fast, so it doesn't really matter. So we summarize it by saying O of n. Like it scales at n rate, right? It's like n equals O of n. Ah! Well, it doesn't matter. So you get it. If n becomes 1, its answer is 1. If n is 2, answer is 2. If n is 3, answer is 3. And in our example, reason I said the constant times n is because the constant here is 3, and n is the size. So we get 3 at when n equals 1. When n equals 2, what do you get? You get 6, and so on and so forth. So yes, it does grow steadily, constantly, at rate of n. Typically this, right, the rate of n is single for loop. If something requires a single for loop, oh my gosh, what's going on? God, I hate my buttons. Just keep clicking some random stuff here. Okay, let's see. Sure says, nothing so serious. Oh my gosh. Oh, I know what's happening. A control got pressed on my keyboard. Okay, hold on. Even says, oh yeah, can you summarize that one more time? I'm sorry, I missed the beginning. Just once, please. I didn't see it. Sorry. Yeah, this makes sense. Like a scale steady rate. Yeah, so function that calls another function would be like O of gazillion. Well, depending on what that function is doing, but yes. So for loop, a single loop of n, because whatever's in here is considered constant time, right? This big O would be O of n. Doesn't matter what this is. This is considered O of n. If something does 4n and then you do 4n inside of those, right? So you're looping the constant n times, right? For every n. So this becomes n times n, which is n squared. And this one is significantly heavier than this because every increments of the size increases it by squared amount of times, right? Does that make sense? Right? So typically the bazillion line doesn't matter as much as how many loops does it do per element, essentially. All right. Some of the more complicated part is understanding. So, I mean, this is easy. If there's loop inside of loop inside of loop, that's n cubed. Yeah, it would be n squared. But what's faster than n? What's faster than n? That's the question. That's where things start to get tricky. One is faster than n, one also known as constant, but there is actually something between constant and n. Log n, yes. Because if you take the log n, it grows like this, I think. It grows something like, I mean, this is an estimation. Maybe this is not true. But if you take it, basically, it's something less than increments of n, essentially. Real example? Okay. I'll show you log n. Typically, if you split the size, if you're decreasing the size of the element every time, it becomes log n. So for example, I guess graph could be a pretty good example here. How many elements are here? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elements, right? And depending on, let's say this is a binary search tree. Binary search tree, by definition, they're purposely organized so that the left element is always less than this one, or let's say less than equal to. And then the right one is always greater than this one. So if we were to write it, it's going to look like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Because every element on the left is always less than the root. And then, Hasi, that's a good one. That's exactly what binary is. And then you have 4, and then you have 5, 6, 7, let's say, right? In this example, there are 7 elements, but you don't have to look through everything in order to find it, right? Because you can think about this. Let's say you start from here, and somebody said, give me number 5. Where is it? And I would go, oh, well, this is 4. I'm going to go right. And this is 6, so I'm going to go left. This took 1 and 2 operation. Even though there's 7 elements, the operation actually took 3, right, in order to find that. But this is not a constant time, because if the tree was bigger, this will also be slower. It's not always 3. It will increase based on the number of elements. So this O is some sort of multiples of n, but it's less than n. And basically, the math is that they found out basically whenever you do a split, right? Whenever you half the array and then half the array again, half the array again, half the array again, in order to reach your destination, that basically runs at log n time, which is better than n. Binary tree. Yeah, it is binary tree. Reason phone book example that Hasi said fits this use case is because when you're looking for a name in a phone book, I mean, you know the alphabet, so it doesn't matter. But let's say you do split in half and it's organized in alphabetical order, and you can tell, like, if somebody's name is Ezra, for example, and you open it up and then you land on H, you know where to go, left or right. So that's basically a binary search tree. So that's log n. That's why it's slower. So if we were to rank the operation speed, right, we have O of 1, which also is known as O of constant time. And then we have O of log n. And then we have O of n. And then we have O of n times log n. And then we have O of n squared. And so you see where it's going. N squared log n. And then O of n cubed, so on and so forth. And then people can get really, creative on like what this actually is. I think I've seen something like this before too, or, whatever. But that doesn't matter. This is the main thing. This is the order, right? So when they say, hey, give me the operation speed, you usually know by some basic rules here. So here, this is like summary of everything you'll learn on Big O, right? Next thing, what if you have something that takes constant time, right? Some function that takes constant time. And then you have another function that takes, or let's call it function number 2, that also takes constant time. You execute them together. What is the operation speed? Well, this takes a fixed number of time. This takes a fixed number of time. And I said any number that is fixed is constant time. So that is basically O of constant time. Right? Simple. So you can have as many regular constant time as possible. It'll be considered fast in the big data sense. Then naturally the question goes, well, what if you have O of n plus O of n? What is that? If something is going through a loop of n, finishes it, then executes it again. This is a closed bracket, by the way. I know it looks like 3. What is this one? Total time. Well, technically it's O of n plus O of n. That is what? O of 2n. Right? Oh, thanks for the raid, NT. Sorry, we're not game developing right now because we're doing a little coding school, apparently. We're talking about complexity and how to do complexity calculation, or what it means. But welcome. Let's give it a little shout out. Mikuri, if you're here, can you give it a shout out? So I don't have to take off my glove. Emo says, teaching my dumb butt. No. All right, thank you for the shout out. There we go. It's okay. Never deving either. Yeah. Okay, so if you have something that takes O of n time, and then you do O of n time again, the total is O of n plus O of n is O of 2n, right? But once again, the constants are nothing. It means nothing to us because it's fixed. So 2n, 3n, 4n, technically 3n is faster than 4n, but in the grand scheme of things, right? In the grand scheme of things, it's still n. So if you have an operation and an operation back to back, we consider that O of n. Because what makes it really slow is the n, right? Cool. So let's talk about n squared, which we were talking about earlier, right? If we have O of n operation, which is for each n, and then you're about to put something in here, what if you do something that is O of n operation inside of O of n operation? And he says, hated this topic in uni. It's easy to understand. It's not that complicated. I'm trying to explain as much as I can. As an engineer, we do care about the constants. Yeah. Because somebody was asking, like, how do we optimize? And what does it mean to consider a big O? So it's just kind of relevant in game dev. So we're talking about it. Emopix says, I think I'm supposed to be writing O of n or O of ones. Huh? In what cases are we talking about? Well, yeah, that's the goal. You want always O of n, O of log n, or O of 1. That's the goal. Like in general, yeah. If you can do constant time for everything, you're to go. Yeah, exactly. Constant time is the goal, always. It's hard. Sure says O of n plus O of n times O of n, maybe? Okay, so if you have O of n operation, that means we're going to do n number of this, and within side of it, you have another n. That's you're doing n times, so that's n times n. That's n squared, right? So it's the same thing as having for each n instead of for each n, right? We're doing n loop n times. So if you, it is an n squared. Now, here comes an interesting part. Now, we keep using the same number n. What if you have two different data structures with two different size? Right? So you're looping through, let's say there's two sizes, array n and m. So first you do for each n. So that's n operation. And inside of it, we do for each m. Right? The same thing is we're doing m operations n times. So that's n times m. Functionally, if n is similar to m, if n was similar to m size, then this spits out O of n squared. But realistically, it is n m, right? Right. If m and n was similar, it would be n squared because it's just n. But otherwise, you notate it as n of m. Right? Okay. So there's some things. If you're nesting complexity, you multiply the complexity. If you're putting the complexity next to each other, just adding, then it's the most complex one, which I'll explain a bit. Let me read the chat here. And sure is like, oh, n plus n and 2n is n. Yes. NT says, n when m walks in the room. Exactly. Oh, I think this is explaining why functional programming like Haskell is always recommended to me. Potentially, I'm not familiar with Haskell enough to tell you this, but you can make your own decision or own judgment on that, I think. I trust you to do that. I have not heard of it. Well, I have heard of a Haskell, but I don't know what it is in detail. Hasi says, it's getting more clear to me. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. Sure says, so the answer is O of n. O of n plus O of n times O of n. Okay, so here's the thing. That's where I wanted to get to. So we talked about O of 1 plus O of 1 is just O of 1. We talked about O of n right next to O of n is just O of n, right? You got to think about what this means in reality to know the answer here. What if I have O of n function? What is that? Is that a follow on YouTube? Maybe. Oh, another raid. Oh, I didn't realize. I think I just gave a shout out, so I don't think I can give another one. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you can try. Thanks for the raid. Steamed Coco says, get steamed, get scammed. Please don't scam us. Thanks, Raiders. Thanks for being here. We usually do game development or sometimes art. Today, somebody asked about optimization, and they are self-taught in programming. So we're talking about big O's because somebody was like, I went to school, but I don't remember. Mind you, I went to school with this person. I saw them skip the classes, but I never thought that they didn't understand it. But it's okay. No judgment zone. Maybe they're just trying to give me content, and this would be a good shorts, I think. No judgment zone. It's okay. Steam says, gotta head out though. Have a good stream. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the Raiders. Chris says, goodbye, scammer. Aw, scammer goes away. Anyways, okay, so the next thing we were talking about was, okay, we have a complexity. So this is like for each n, right? We got that. And then we put it right next to O of n squared. So we execute O of n, and then right after that, we do for each n, for each n, like so, right after that. Okay, so we did n operation, and then we're doing n square operation right after that. What will we consider the total complexity of this operation when you're doing it together? It's whatever's the worst, right? It's like the calculus. In calculus, when you go to the infinity, when you are approaching infinity, whatever is growing faster will take over whatever is growing smaller, right? So eventually, this will reach infinity faster than this one, right? While this is reaching infinity, this would be like, you know, 1/2 of infinity, or not 1/2, but raised by 1/2. So you know what I'm talking about. So what we care about here is that, well, it's growing by n's amount, and this is getting complex by the n square. So at the end of the day, total is just n square. So if you have a bunch of O of 1 plus O of n plus O of whatever else, the total result is whatever is the most complex. Does that make sense? I hope so. Auntie says, limits have entered the chat. I mean, it's relevant, essentially. It's basically whatever would be the most significant faster, because that's what we care about. At the end of the day, when we're talking about complexity, we don't talk about the worst case scenario. So that's it. O of n plus O of n is O of n, but O of n plus O of n square is O of n square. Basically, whatever is the biggest, right? So the whole optimization of like, well, I have a thing, I can make it a constant time here, but then it's going to be n here. That improvement, going from O of n plus O of n to O of 1 to O of n, is better, but effectively, they're the same. We haven't really solved the problem. It would be better if we can make both of them log n somehow. Because in terms of operation time, it does shave time, but not a lot. So when we are making optimization, you got to look at what is our biggest thing that's holding us back. Okay, those are some of the things. Okay, so if you do complex operation within a complex operation, there are multiplication of the operation, or multiplication of the complexity. If you have complex operation next to a complex operation, whatever is the worst will take over. So everything we want is constant. We talked about the order, right? We did the log n is less than n. So the order of complexity is 1, aka constant time, log n, n log n, etc., etc. Cool. That's all of the complexity. That's the speed complexity. And you can use that same thing on the space. How much memory does it operate on? So if I say, in order to keep one element, how much memory do we need in the memory slot? If it is 1-to-1, if I have 2 elements, it takes 2. If I have 3 elements, if it takes 3, then that is O of n complexity of space. Same thing. If I have 1 data and that requires me to have 3 spots or whatever, that's another thing. Anyways. But that's not as significant as the operation complexity here. Cool. What else? There is a little bit more there. One loop, later scammers, limits have entered the chat, and square, but I am probably wrong. But what if there are 3 loops? If there are 3 loops within each other, that's n cubed, right? N times n times the n equals n, oops, n cubed. Gray Ian says, are you building a ninja? Maybe. NT says, his building Among Us is very suspicious. That gamer says, will there be a quiz? Maybe. Your quiz will be your life. Your performance of your game will be a quiz. Shore says, tell me what a black hole is. It's a dense space where there is a mass so big that the light can escape. The terminal velocity of the light cannot escape the gravitational force. That gamer says, oh, I'm used to failing that. Oh, it's okay. After this, you guys will all, well, maybe I shouldn't say you guys. Y'all would all pass this test, hopefully. Okay, so why is this important? All right, we talk about database. Database and complexity is really closely related, right? So when we say, hey, let's put, I don't know, a person into an array or information into an array. This is Ezra. And we put random access array. And then we put like people in here, some data, right? Imopig and I don't know, Shore 91 goes in here, so on and so forth. How easy is it to put it in? Like how fast is it to put a data into an array? Does it depend on how big the array is, or does it not? And that's the different data structure database, or not database. That's the reason for using different data structure, right? So if it's a random access array, which means we pre-slot some space in the memory, let's call this RAM. And this is like 0, 1, 2. And then all we have to do is keep the pointer at where the tail is. And when you're inserting, all we have to do is, insert at tail. That's a single constant operation. Doesn't matter how big this is, because every time we insert something, we're increasing the tail, right? And so every time we insert new things, it just takes a constant amount of time. Single operation. But when you're finding something, let's say, okay, out of all these, the size n, I think my face is probably covering the RAM here. Out of all the data in this array, let's say find Ezra, and it's not sorted, then you have to go through everything. And so finding an element in an array, random access memory, random access array, just plain old array, is O of n, because it takes longer. Worst case scenario, takes longer the bigger it is. Yes? And some of the techniques are like, if you sort it, right? That's why we want to sort it. If we pre-sort this, ignoring how fast it is to sort it, then you can do binary search, which we talked about, right? And we said, how fast is it to find element in a binary tree? Binary search tree? Log n. So instead of it being n normally, Now we can do it in log n times, which is much faster to search. But then the problem is, how long does it take to create binary search tree, like sort? How long does it take to sort an array? And that's where you get into the, n square at the most worst case scenario, n log n on average on the best case scenario. So then now we have this thing going on, right? All right, this is the last point I'm going to make. So all of this comes together to create this situation. Finding an element, right? If finding an element in an array, we decided that if we sort things first, then finding it will take O of log n. Pretty neat. So we want to achieve that. But this only becomes viable if sorting is also less than n. But it isn't. Sorting takes n log n times. Best case scenario, unless you're doing bucket sorting, which is n times, but it doesn't matter. So this means if we're doing the sorting every time, it's not worth it. If every time we need to find something, we're sorting it and then finding it, then the complexity of it is what? We said O of n log n plus O of log n. Which one is worse? N log n, right? So this whole thing is O of n log n. It's not worth it, right? Because O of n is, or O of n, which was where it was originally, is faster. But it is worth it because you have to only do this once. If you do it once, then searching something is log n every time. So you only want to do this if you're not inserting often, right? If you're not inserting to the data often, or if you make it so that it's always sorted when you're inserting without having to have this n log n complexity, then it's worth it. That kind of stuff. So that's why log n is important. All right, class is over. Let's catch up on the chat here. Kodo says, what's this? Somebody asked about complexity, so I was explaining some programming concept. Kodo, welcome. All right, let me pop the chat here because I can't really see. It's too far. Emopig says, thank you very much. Yeah, no problem. He's building Among Us. Yes, yes, yes. I somehow went through all my schooling without taking physics. Lucky you. I was physics major, so I couldn't avoid it. Emopig says, I took physical science in 8th grade, though. Yeah, no, I remember you saying that. I remember you saying that you did that on purpose so you'd never have to do physics again. And he says, simply don't make a game that needs databases. That's a solution. And make sure you don't have any characters that increases in n amount. Like even looping through enemies is array. Shore says, but at that point, the laws of physics comes into play because the speed of light would have to be exceeded, you know? Yeah, exactly. What does it mean by the force being faster than the speed of light, right? And that's why the theory of warping space has come into play. Hasi Constant, yeah. That gamer says, but more importantly, how fast it is to read from. That's a thing. You know, that's the kind of the give and take. Read, find, insert. And that's why one of my old short video, I said, only thing you need to really worry about is how fast is it to write to a data structure? How fast is it to find something from the data structure? How fast is it to remove something from data structure? Those three comes into play. Anti says append is greater than insert at. Yes, append is faster. Insert at is basically search. There's so many complexity with that. Anti says, I love those complexity questions when the answer is like, assume we know where everything is already. Yeah. Anti says, what's your background, developer Ezra? I was double major in physics and computer science in college, but I dropped physics on the last credit hour because I was like, I got a job. I don't need physics degree. Physics doesn't help me at all. So I just graduated with computer science. Did software engineering for like 12 years now. But I got laid off during the big tech layoff. And I was like, you know what? I got 6 months of severance. I've been always wanting to do game development, so I started a YouTube channel, which did well. So here I am. Shore says, what do you think about the fact that NVIDIA has started using AI to compensate for not being able to increase raw GPU performance anymore? I feel like it's defeating the purpose of having a performance. Like, extra FPS gave me information, right? Besides, if you're not wanting extra FPS for like competitive advantage, then you don't need that extra FPS, because after 240, you really, really cannot tell the difference, right? The response time wise. So if you're adding those things, that is not real. I just feel like that defeats the purpose of having it, unless it's meant to be just like, oh, so that you can have like a real life immersion experience. Then I guess that's fine. Imopi says, thank you very much. No problem. RetroDev says, array these pixels. Exactly. I feel the same way. All right. We've been online for 3 hours now. I think that's pretty good enough. We've been working. Okay, so for those of you raiders that joined Typically Game Development, I've been working on this Twitch integration. So the berry folks that you see on screen is developed in Godot. It's a gachapon type of situation, but not really. You can use your channel point to plant your seed. There's a plant berry seed point, and then you can water them 9 times to get one of the berries. And you can see there are availabilities here. These are basically, you can open booster packs to add to the pool, and you get a chance of getting a berry from the pool. And I wanted to make some mini games that goes along with it. So far right now, if you have multiple copies of the berry, you become bigger. If you redeem first, you're the first one to redeem. You get a little finger here. You get your berries fingered. And then you can lurk to sit. You can stop lurk to get up. You can kick other berries with a kick command. And we were just adding a game mode where there's a crown and you can kick people to steal crowns from them. I actually really wanted to make a tower defense game that happens like between ad breaks and stuff like that. But, you know, we're going through it. Thanks for follow, Orokusaki. Welcome, welcome. Kodo on YouTube says, isn't adding an element to a list in Python should be amortized constant, not constant though, right? Yeah. Because, okay, so the whole thing about the memory is that array, you have to pre-slot the array with specific size, right? If you fill up, you have to create a new one and copy the data over. And that takes an operation. So typically what people do is they pre-increase the array size beforehand, or keep a big enough beginning size that you never have to resize it. Those are some of the things that people do. Watermelon says, I think it's not entirely because they can't increase performance, but because game devs, especially AAA, really like to leave their stuff unoptimized, which nullifies any hardware advancement. Yeah. I mean, we make that mistake too, because memory and CPU is so fast that sometimes like we are not forced to make it better. So now the trade-off that we used to make by saying, you know what, the experience is not bad enough if we use more storage space, or like we don't need to optimize the storage space because it will work fine, has gone far enough now that things are really badly optimized. Yeah. McGrath says, will he ever make an engine? Maybe, for fun. Maybe one day. It will definitely make a good content, but it's not a quick content, that's for sure. Kato says, since there's a chance that there isn't enough space to add another contiguous pointer to the Python, yeah. It's not just Python, by the way. That's just memory management in general. And that's why they first came up with linked list. The way I explain linked list is that you don't need to resize the memory if you have a linked list, right? Because you can just assign a new tight spot within the memory space and just point to it. So you don't need a contiguous space. Kato says, I think the Python lists are contiguous arrays of pointers to Python objects, but I could be wrong. Most of the static arrays are that. We call them array list. because array lists are meant to auto manage the fixed size array memory management. Coda says, "Oh, your example was in Python, so I talked about Python." Oh, I mean, I just chose some pseudocode. I didn't mean to. I don't know Python personally. I just did it in Godot, which I guess is based on Python. But yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good points, everyone. And he says, "I started streaming after getting laid off too." Great. We're buddies in that sense. Thanks for the follow, sure. Go check out my YouTube. Whatever. I don't know. If you're into game devs. Here you go. All right, here insert. I'm going to rate out now. That was fun, right? I guess I should do some short edits. There are some clips out there, I'm sure. We did Hypnotic yesterday. Hypnotic might be in here, though. JD? Okay, I guess we could go to JD. But I'm going to throw dice here. Because I went to JD recently, too. I suppose we should throw dice. Throw the dice. Roll. Flip a coin. Flipping. Oh, it's head. We're going to Hypnotic. Sorry, JD. Let's see. Kodo says, "Were you nervous on your first stream?" Well, not really, because I did my first stream after I've been doing YouTube for like a year and a half anyways. I also am very used to public speaking in general. So thanks for following, NT. All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you guys have a good one. I won't be here tomorrow. I think I need to take a content day because I need to make my next deck builder tutorial. But anyways, otherwise, yeah, if you're not following me already, follow, etc., etc. Kudo says, "I feel like I would be camera shy about my typing speed, etc." Yeah, you just have to not think about it. I'm not a very self-conscious person. Fortunately, unfortunately. I don't know how that happened, but yeah. All right, bye. Imopix says bye. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for the watching and whatnot. All right, I gotta say bye to YouTube as well. Here we go.